welcome back to my channel and welcome to probably one of the most exciting videos I think I will ever film for this channel, which is the 10 baby names I love but won't be using. When I discovered these videos about a year and a half ago, I was so excited for when it was gonna like finally be my turn to sit down and film. And I know like some people make these baby name videos and they're not pregnant, but I knew, like, especially last year, that we'd started planning on starting a family, and I knew that this was a video I wanted to save for this time. And I can't believe it, but I'm almost 31 weeks pregnant and our little baby is coming really soon. Also wanted to tell you guys that Jeff and I have not been able to pick a name yet. So we have like, I want to say 4 or 5 names that we really genuinely love, but we just haven't been able to pick a name. So if any of you guys out there know any like really cute baby boy names or baby boy names that you really adore, please let me know, because we're always like on the search for baby boy names, being that our baby boy is coming soon and we still haven't been able to agree upon a name. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the baby names that we love but won't be using. I'm going to start with the boy names, being that we are having a boy, and then I'll jump to the girl names. And the first boy name that we have on our list is Rupert. I think Rupert is just such a cute name. I think it's so cute. There's like some sort of traditional aspect about it, which I really love, and I love that. I think it's a British name, like it's from the UK, and my husband's father's family is from the UK. And I don't know, I think it's a very unusual name. It's not one that you hear very often, but I think for that same reason, I was a little bit hesitant on taking the dive and like choosing that name or keeping that name and like in the running. So although I think it's adorable and I really love it, it is one of those that my husband and I, like when we were trying to really narrow down the list, we were like, you know what, that's one that, although we love and again think it's so adorable, it's one that I think we'll give a pass this time around. The next name that I love but we won't be using is Nigel. I love this name because, okay, so the first person I think of is that photographer. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched America's Next Top Model, but the photographer who worked with Tyra Banks, or like was one of the judges, his name was Nigel, and he was so cute, like so handsome. And so originally, like when I thought of the name, that's what I thought of. I was like, oh, like, and isn't it funny how you do that, how you like associate names with people, and then you think in your head that like, yeah, like my child will also grow up to be just as like attractive and cute. I don't know. So I don't know, I liked it. But then after like, I don't know, sitting on it for a little bit longer, it was again just one of those names that although my husband and I both liked, we just didn't, I don't know, we didn't want to keep it on the list when push came to shove. The next name that my husband and I both really love and won't be using is August. I love the name August. I think that it is, again, it's different, but there's something, I don't know, there's something very like wild about it. Does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. But like when I think of the name August, I think of like, I don't know, untamed, wild, like it's a name that, I don't know, exudes almost like a summer feel to me, obviously because August is in summer, duh. But I don't know, there's just something so genuine about the name, and I just think that it's like different enough where like you won't have, you know, 3 or 4 Augusts in a class, but it's also not just like so out there. That being said, the reason we're not using it is because my cousin named her son August, and that's when I first actually heard of it. And although I know that like she wouldn't mind and like my family wouldn't mind if we use the name as well, especially because it's such a unique, like gorgeous name, I wanted to like leave that to her. So yeah, I love August, but we won't be using it. The next little boy name that I love but we won't be using is Viggo. And Viggo's a bit of a different one. I love the name Viggo because of the actor Viggo Mortensen. Oh my gosh, I love him. And my husband knows that I love him, and so when I mentioned the name Viggo to him and I was like, let's name our baby Viggo, he was like, I don't think so. And I don't think it's because he doesn't like the name, I just think he thinks it's weird that like our baby would be named after an actor that like I love. And so yeah, that's why I love the name Viggo. And again, like I think it's so cool and different. And I mean, now like even saying it out loud like a few times, like, don't be surprised if maybe our baby comes out and his name is Viggo. But yeah, it's definitely one that my husband isn't like super keen on. And the last baby boy name that we love but won't be using is Hadrian. Now this is a funny one because I like really love this name. I think it's really different. I don't know, again, like there's like an old world mysterious charm about it. But the reason that we won't be using it, my husband is just not a fan of like names that almost require that you say them twice. Like his whole thing is like he would imagine our son like calling, I don't know, somewhere, a store or something, and the people would be like, oh, like, what's your name? And him saying Hadrian and then being like, what, Adrian? And so he just sees like a lifetime of that happening for our son if his name was Hadrian. Although again, like I love the name Hadrian. It's not a super common name, but I can see where he's coming from. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on to girl names now that we love but won't be using. This first name, I love it. If he turned around and was like, I love this name, my husband, then I would be like, okay, great. Like I could get on board with using this, but I don't know, he just doesn't like it. The name is Georgina. I think Georgina is such a beautiful name. There's something so like classic, old world, like regal about the name Georgina. And it's funny because I don't think this was a name that I would particularly have loved like as a teenager or even as like a young adult. But recently, I don't know, I heard the name maybe like a year or two ago and just fell in love with it. I think it's very unique. It's different. I don't think that there are a lot of Georginas out there, but there's something strong about it, right? There's like that masculine, like feminine quality to the name, both. But my husband just doesn't like it. So we're going to give it a skip. The next name that we love but won't be using is the name Jane. I love the name Jane. I think it's so classic, and that's like obviously a theme here. I love very like classic. I love classic, unique names that are classic maybe in like the literary sense or historical sense, but are also fairly unique, I guess, for like my area, right? Like for my region. I love Jane. I think Jane is just such a beautiful, simple, gorgeous, beautiful name. My husband just wasn't like super down for it, and yeah. It's both of our kids, so gotta make sure you both agree. The next name is actually one that my husband loves, but that I just couldn't, you know, like when push came to shove, I just wasn't super in love with, and that is the name Philomena. I think Philomena is a really beautiful little girl name, very different, very unique. And my husband was in love with it. Like when we didn't know the sex of the baby, this was one of those names where he was like, oh my gosh, like that's, you know, if I would have loved it, I think that would have been like our name, like for a possibility for a girl. But I don't know, there was something about it, like there's something about it that I just couldn't, like I didn't love, you know? So there were names on our list, I guess, that I loved more. I still think that Philomena is a beautiful, like very gorgeous name, very romantic name, but just one that I don't know, I needed to give a little pass to. Next name that we love but won't be using is the name Isla. Isla, really stunning name, and for a while I had it just popped into my head one day when we were actually, like last year when we were living down in Florida, and I had no idea how to spell it. And I know now that you can spell it two different ways, but after like doing some research, I really fell in love with the spelling E-I-L-A instead of I-S-L-A. And I just think it's a really gorgeous, feminine, pretty name. And it was definitely quite high up there on the list for a little while. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think there are those names that you like fall in love with for a short period of time and then like slowly fall out of love with, or like maybe it was just sort of like a passing thing. And I think for us, the name Isla kind of was that. The last name on our list for little girls that we love is Twila. Actually, it rhymes with Isla. Twila. I heard this name, a friend of mine had mentioned it last year, and she had mentioned like this little girl she knew named Twila. And I remember thinking about that name and just like falling in love with it. Because again, not the only Twila that I ever knew was Twila Tharp, the choreographer. And besides that, like I didn't know any Twilas. And it sounded so pretty to me, so unique. I think it means twilight, which again is just like brings about like gorgeous imagery. And yeah, I was, it was pretty high up there on the list for a while, just like Isla was. And just like Isla, I don't know, I just sort of one day fell out of love with it, I guess, or like when like I got pregnant and we were like really considering names, I think, again, because there were some names that we just loved more, it quickly just sort of dropped off the list. But I think it is a really beautiful name. I think it is really unique too, which is always nice to kind of hear unique different names. But yeah, we won't be using Twila. Okay guys, so those are the 10 baby names we love but won't be using. Again, we haven't decided on a baby name yet, so if you have any suggestions or names that you like absolutely love, please let me know down in the comments below. I've been telling everybody, like the people at work and clients of mine and family and friends, that like Jeff and I haven't decided on a name yet, so we're taking like all suggestions. So any suggestions you have, I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you all really soon. Bye guys!